Hello Motor Rider World fans, and this is Triumph Speed Triple RS, a naked bike that we tested last year. It was released in 2021 and it was one of our bikes of the year for sure. Certainly one of the best naked sports bikes on the market today. Value for money, you really can't better this Triumph, other than the new Suzuki GSX-S that we just tested recently at 225,000 Rand, but it doesn't have the same kind of tech or performance as this bike. That is why I rate this so highly. And when we tested this, we absolutely loved it. We put it up against the Aprilia's 209, it matched it. We put it up against KTM's 1290 Super Duke R, it matched it. But where it destroyed all those bikes was in that value for money aspect, with the price and all the extras that you get with the Öhlins suspension, the Brembo brakes. The build quality was phenomenal. But while we tested it as well, we kept finding ourselves sitting in the pits or sitting at a garage saying, can you imagine if this thing had clip-on bars and a fairing, a superbike version of this? How awesome would that be? Well, Triumph listened, and there were rumblings towards the end of last year that there would be an RR version that would come out, and you know, a superbike racer like myself just rubbed my hands together going, Triumph, you beautiful creations, finally we're going to have a Triumph superbike model once again. So based on the naked Speed Triple RS, which is kind of like your road sport, the RS Road Sport, Triumph have now released this. The British have done it again. The RR version of the Speed Triple RS. So road race or road retro. I'm not too sure what the RR really stands for, but when a manufacturer in the form that they're in, like Triumph, puts an RR badge on their motorcycles, you know it's going to be phenomenal. So this is our first time sampling Triumph's new, you can't even call it fully faired because it's not like half faired, retro styled Neo Cafe Racer. We're still trying to figure out what it is. Maybe by the end of this test we'll have more of a solid name to give you, because it certainly is a superbike, because it's got the clip-on bars, the Öhlins electronic suspension front and rear. It's got that same beautiful triple motor with all that torque, all that horsepower. It's got all the sophistication with traction control, wheelie control, riding modes. It's got everything you would want from a modern day superbike, other than the full fairing. It's got this retro style fairing. And then, as I said, when I heard this RR model coming out, and when Triumph first released pictures towards the end of 2021, I was kind of like, bleh, Triumph have got that horribly wrong. What is it? You had this opportunity to make a fully faired, triple powered superbike, and you've gone and put a retro Cafe Racer styled old school headlight and little fairing on it. Why, Triumph? You've missed a trick. Then I saw the bike for the first time in the flesh here in Triumph South Africa, and I kind of went, okay, I can kind of understand it. Looks pretty cool. Then I started really taking note of all the little carbon fiber pieces that they've put in perfect places. They've really given it an Italian bit of flair with the design, styling, and the carbon fiber here, there, and everywhere. But they've still got that Triumph build quality that has really just been stepped up in the last couple of years. They really have just taken it to another level. And like I said, it's got that superbike feel with all those components that you want to go around a racetrack. So you look at it and you go, okay, well, I can take it around a racetrack, I can take it out on the road, but what is it really? And that is what we're about to find out in this test. Just where the new Triumph Speed Triple RR fits into the market. First up then was a road ride, and while my relationship with the overall look of the bike was still very much love-hate, one thing I fell in love with straight away was the riding position. The pegs, not too low, not too high, spot on. Those handlebars, again, not too low, not as aggressive as some of your modern day superbikes, and not quite as high as the RS, the naked bike, but just spot on. You really do sit nice and in the bike. The tank, not wide and bulging, so nothing kind of gets in the way. You sit nice and in the bike, and with that little bikini fairing with that screen, offers nice wind protection out on the open road.
Through the everyday traffic, it was nice and nimble, and out on the open road, it was comfortable and stable. It is clip-on bars at the end of the day, so it does get a little bit wristy, a little bit of pressure on those wrists after a longer stint on the long open road. But the nice thing is, it comes standard with a cruise control that's very easy to operate and understand, and works like an absolute charm if you need to give those wrists a little bit of a break. The very clever PR team at Triumph have labelled the new 1200RR the most focused and exhilarating speed triple ride ever, and it's very hard to put that full potential to the test out on our hustle bustle roads. So we took it to the perfect playground for any bike that's got an RR label on it, that is the racetrack. Now this has turned into somewhat of a talking point, with many saying that the new Speed Triple 1200RR is not a superbike. It's not a track bike. And to them I say, tell that to the new Speed Triple 1200RR that comes out with those Pirelli Supercorsa track inspired tires. It comes with a track mode. It even comes with a lap timer. So it really is a track bike with that RR label. Yes, it's got the cafe racer kind of retro fairing. It's more of a sporty road bike, but it's very capable out on the track as well, as we found out here. And there's no better place to really put the capabilities of the bike to the test than out on the track. On the road, you can't really feel that Öhlins electronic suspension work. You can't really get lean angle. You can't test the traction control, the wheelie control, all those electronics to the fullest. So we took it to Red Star Raceway, and we really did put all those components to the absolute test and push them to the limit. And I can tell you right now, the new Speed Triple 1200RR absolutely loved and thrived around the racetrack, and really just soaked it all up, and just was like a Jack Russell let off its leash around the Red Star Racetrack. I can 100% confirm that the new Triumph Speed Triple 1200RR is by far the comfiest motorcycle I have ever ridden around a racetrack. The space that you have to move on this motorcycle, there's nothing getting in your way. There's no tank kind of blocking your elbows. You can just move so freely on this motorbike, and with that tried and tested lightweight Triumph chassis, it really just does flick from corner to corner. It really is an agile little motorcycle with that big powerful 1200 engine in it. So agile, so fast and so racy, it even passes a Suter 500. Okay, now, Triumph fans, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. That was in fact Eskil Suter on his very own Suter 500cc machine around the Red Star Racetrack here in South Africa. Unfamiliar with the track, so really was just taking his time developing that bike. So yeah, can't really take too much from that. But one thing I can take is from my experience on the 1200RR around Red Star is that it thrived. As I said, it really did love its life around the racetrack. It was very easy to handle. No intimidation from this bike is what I love about it. You know, 1200cc triple motor is an absolute gem. 180 horsepower, 125 newton meters of torque to play with, and it's so easy to do just that, to play with. It's enjoyable. It's not intimidating at all. The whole bike is not intimidating. Like I said, you can move around on the bike. You're just comfortable from the word go. Those Brembo style Emma brakes just work like an absolute charm. No fade, no kind of hesitation coming from there. No fade or hesitation from the entire bike. It literally just did everything we wanted it to do, and it just excelled in every single department. To those that say this is not a superbike, and at the beginning of this review we kind of said, well, what is the RR? You know, what does it stand for? What is this bike? Is it a cafe racer? Is it a superbike? What is it? It's got a lot of superbike DNA, there's no doubt about that, with the Öhlins electronic suspension. Of course, that makes it more adaptable on track and road. It's got those Brembo style Lemma brakes. It's got that beautiful superbike kind of DNA in it, just wrapped in this modern day cafe racer retro styling. And in my mind, Triumph have almost created a whole new market with the new 1200RR. What Triumph have done is they've bridged that gap from your naked sports bike, your Speed Triple RS, to that all-out, aggressive, no-holds-barred superbike, your BMW S1000 RRs, your Kawasaki ZX-10, your Ducati Panigale V4s. They've now bridged that gap with the new 1200 RR. A lot of riders don't want to make that jump from that to the full-out aggression of a modern-day superbike. This is that perfect in-betweener. It's got the superbike DNA, but it also has that everyday street bike road sport capability. It's a little bit more user-friendly on the open everyday road, and that is the big selling point of this bike. As far as it goes on what is the actual machine, what's the RR, definitely a retro racer. It's definitely a cafe racer with modern day styling. It's got that look, it's got that feel, but at the same time it's got that superbike DNA with the track mode thrown in. You've got your road, your street, your rain. You've got all the sophistication you would want from an everyday street bike, but you've also got that superbike, that very sporty, racy capability. And at the beginning I started off by saying it's a love-hate relationship with the overall styling, and to be honest, to finish off, I still have that love-hate relationship. One minute I look at it, I love it. Next minute I look at it and go, Triumph, you really did miss a trick here. But I don't think from the outgo they were actually looking to make a full-blown superbike. They were looking to make something in between RS and something in between full-blown superbike. And with the new Speed Triple 1200 RR, they've done that to perfection. I only had two real big gripes with the new Speed Triple 1200 RR. The first being the quick shifter. I felt it was a little bit stiff, a little bit delayed. It just needs a little bit more setting, a little bit more refinement. It didn't feel as smooth and silky as some of its rivals, certainly. Then there's the dash, the same problem that I had with the RS model. While it's beautiful to look at and I absolutely love it, it's got everything that you could possibly want. Even now with the electronic suspension, you can set that up. It's just not as easy to understand and operate as some of the others. You do need a little bit more of a degree in science to understand this the electronic system on this bike, but once you get the hang of it, it really is plug and play type thing, but it's just not as plug and play from the word go as some of its rivals. You do have to just understand that system. Everything worked well. It just was an absolutely fantastic motorcycle to ride out on the road and the racetrack, and priced at 315,000 Rand full retail. It's a proper gem in this new retro race, cafe racer, superbike segment that they've created. Well done, Triumph.